It's a reading comprehension lecture. Throughout this lecture, we are going to discuss Unit 2, which is entertainment, vocabulary words, comprehension skill, and reading text. So the title of our unit is entertainment. What are some entertaining activities, or what is entertainment? What do I mean when I say entertainment? When I say entertainment, it means I am talking about anything that makes me have fun. Anything that is related to fun activities, is related to leisure, is related to outdoor or indoor activities that we do in order to have fun. Some of these activities are here in this picture, as you can see: riding a bike, playing tennis, picnicking, reading a book, going to the beach, playing football, dancing, watching a movie. All of these are called entertaining activities, things that we do in order to have fun, hanging out with friends, and so on. Today we are going to discuss the comprehension skill, which is chronological order. When I say chronological order, it means I mean time order, or things that happen in a certain time order. So when I say chronological, it means time order. What do I mean by this? I mean by chronological order when the writer organizes the events in the story or the steps in a process in the order in which that occur. So I write the events in order. It means I start with what happened first, what happened next, what happened after that, what happened at the end, and so on. Same as we did last week with the writing. We said that we write the events in order. This is the same. So when I say chronological order, it means writing steps in a process or events in a story in the correct order. The sequence of events helps the readers understand the story. When I write the events in the story in order, I help the reader understand the story more and know what is happening in the story. In order to write the events in the correct chronological order, we use some transitional words or transitions, such as first, next, then, after that, finally, after a while, afterward, again, also, and then, as long as, at last, at that time, eventually, further, furthermore, in the first place, lately, meanwhile, moreover, now, presently, since, soon, until now, when. We use dates, we use years, last year, last month. All of these are transitions that we use in order to write the events in the correct order. Let's start now with this exercise. In this exercise, there is a paragraph, and in this paragraph, they are talking about the process that they do the orange juice. What are the steps to make an orange juice? Let's see, and let's read the paragraph together before we move to the exercise. Making orange juice concentrate from fresh oranges is done entirely by machines. First, so this is the first step. First, oranges are dumped into a moving belt. They travel into a machine which washes them with detergent. Next, this is the second step. They are rolled into juicing machines where 700 oranges per minute are split and squeezed. Then, this is number 3. The rinds or the skin of the oranges are thrown out the end of a long tube. At the same time, the juice goes through small holes in the bottom of the tube. Next, and this is also a transition, at the same time is also a transition, the juice goes into another machine called the finisher. There, the seeds and other tiny objects are removed. Last, so this is the final step, the juice goes into large tanks where most of the water is removed. Let's now move to the exercise. In this exercise, we have to number the events. Okay, what happens first? So, first, they said that the oranges are dumped into a moving belt. So, this is event number one. Number two, what happens number two? Number two, the rinds are thrown out. So this is number two, when the rinds are thrown out. Number three, what happens? The juice goes through small holes? No. The juice goes into large tanks? No. Oranges are rolled into juicing machine, or the juice goes into another machine called the finisher. The juice goes into another machine called the finisher. So this is event number three. After that, oranges are rolled into juicing machines. After that, the juice goes through small holes in the bottom of the tube. So this is event number five. And at the end, the juice goes into large tanks. So this is event number six. Now let's start with the vocabulary words. The vocabulary words are not that difficult. They are familiar to you, most of them. So we are going to start with the vocabulary words now. Let's start with the first word, marketed. Marketed, it means try to persuade people to buy a product, like ads, billboards. All of these are marketing for some products. So when you market for something, it means you are persuading people to buy something. Cover letter. A cover letter or note containing information about the thing that is sent with. When I say a cover letter, for example, if you buy a story or a book, there is a cover letter on this book. This note or this cover shows you what is the book about. This is what do we mean by a cover letter. Dominant. When I say that something is dominant, it means it's very important, very powerful, successful. Priority. It means superiority in rank. It means it has the first stage in your life. It's something very important to you. Landscape. A picture representing a view of natural inland. It means everything related to nature. Mountains, valleys, lakes, rivers, all of these are called landscape. Roller coaster. It's an elevated railway constructed with sharp curves and steep inclines on which cars roll. It's a game in the fun fair. You can ride this game. It's called a roller coaster. Recapture, it means the act of retaking something. Evolved, it means develop or work out. Founder is the person that founds or establishes something. Number 10, debut. It means the first appearance of something or of a person. For example, a singer's debut is the first time this singer goes on stage. A football player debut, it means the first time this person plays football, and so on. Executive is a manager in an organization who helps make important decisions. So these are the vocab words. Now let's move to our reading lesson, which is about something entertaining. We're going to read the lesson together, explain it together, and we'll end up our lecture. The title of our lesson here, or the title of the selection is, Do You Want to Have Fun? Let's start reading the first paragraph. You are probably familiar with Disneyland, Six Flags, and other theme or amusement parks that dot USA's landscape. All of them have enjoyed continued success. Disneyland has been cherished by children and adults ever since its beginning in the late 1950s. Walt Disney himself founded the first amusement park of its kind with his saying. So now we are talking about Disneyland, and we are talking about what Walt Disney, the founder of Disneyland, said. The idea of Disneyland is a simple one. It will be a place for people to find happiness and knowledge. It will be a place for parents and children to share pleasant times in one another's company, and a place for teachers and pupils to discover greater ways of understanding and education. Here, the older generation can recapture the memories of days gone by, and the younger generation can savor the challenge of the future. Here, the wonders of nature and man come together for all to see and understand. It will be filled with accomplishments, the joys, and the hopes of the world we live in, reminding us how to make these wonders part of our lives. This is how he described, or Walt Disney described, Disneyland. Today, many theme or amusement parks are in operation. But do you know that this type of amusement started many years ago, around 1550? So this kind of amusement park started in the year 1550. So they are very old kind of amusement parks. When these places were first built in Europe, they were called pleasure gardens. They were filled with games, music, and the first amusement rides. Political problems forced many of the gardens to close down in the 1700s. So these amusement parks were closed in the 1700s due to political problems. Amazingly, one of those parks remains in existence today. It is called Bacon, and it is located north of Copenhagen, Denmark's capital city. Bacon was originally opened in the 1580s. It is undoubtedly the world's oldest amusement park. So this park is one of the oldest amusement parks in the world. The number of rides continued to grow. Using a sled in the 1600s, the Russians built a ride on a long icy slide. This ride is said to have evolved into the ever-popular roller coaster. Lamarcus A. Thompson, an American inventor, designed the switchback railway at the end of the 1800s. This was considered the first roller coaster in America. Following the roller coaster was the Ferris wheel. George Ferris unveiled his invention of the wheel ride at the end of the 19th century. So it is called Ferris wheel because the person who invented this wheel is called George Ferris. The Ferris wheel consisted of a large, upright rotating wheel that stood over 250 feet high. It amazed the young and the old alike. Amusement parks continued to grow in popularity with the invention of more and more rides. New York's Coney Island had started up in the 1870s, and the rides and games entertained a countless number of visitors and tourists. An amusement place called Water Chutes Park was opened up for business in Chicago in the late 1800s. Its founder was Captain Paul Boynton. It was the first park with a variety of games and other attractions, and people had to pay a charge to get admittance. So this was also a business-wise. He opened this amusement park, and people had to pay to enter this amusement park. Then, in the early 1900s, Luna Park opened up at Coney Island too. By 1910, there were an estimated 2,000 amusement parks in existence. Unfortunately, the public lost interest in the next 5 to 10 years, and many parks were shut down because of bad economic conditions in the first half of the 20th century. So, by this, we finish our reading lesson. It's a very easy lesson. I read the text, we explained it together. I hope you understood the vocabulary words. In order to solve the handout, you have to refer to the lecture in order to check the meanings of the vocabulary words and then solve the given exercises. Thank you all. See you soon.